Namaste. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana. I do believe I'm broadcasting on Facebook as well, too. So if you see any unusual things that I pop up on the screen, it might be because I'm sharing things from somebody on Facebook, not just on YouTube. So welcome. My name is Sadhana. And today is a very special broadcast. I'm here with some tarot students. And my intention is to share with you some information about upcoming classes. And it's very difficult for me to articulate what happens in my classes because I'm the teacher. And I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity for you to hear firsthand from some of my students. And we do have questions that are prepared. And if you are either watching the replay or you pop into the live chat tonight, please feel free to go ahead and ask other questions. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tarot Foundations. So this was a course that I created as a response to what I thought were somewhat incomplete tarot classes, get certified in 4 weeks kind of thing. I just felt that those classes, while I think every class you take from every teacher, you're going to learn something because you're going to learn a different perspective and different language around what cards mean and how to interpret them. But for me, the quick and dirty classes weren't just enough. And so that's why I decided to create a 22-week class. And each time I have taught this, the class has kind of morphed into a slightly different direction depending on who has been present, the students that are in the class. And it's just been amazing. And the best part is the connection. And I hope you can feel that tonight and hear some of that feedback from the students as well. So yeah, I want to say welcome to my lovely guests who are here, and I will introduce everyone. So, hopefully you'll see them the same way I do. Sarah's up at the top. So hello, Sarah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Just say hi to everyone.
Hi. Yes. Well, let's see. I was first interested or got interested in tarot a long time ago, and then it sort of dropped off the radar. And then a few years ago, my interest was kind of rekindled, and I found Sadhana, and that was the beginning of a great journey. So it's just been a fabulous experience taking classes with her, with you, Sadhana, and my fellow students. So,
and Sarah, where are you located?
So I'm in Massachusetts.
Okay, welcome. Clevis, hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sadhana, and all of you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you wandered into this course.
I think I got my first deck maybe 20 years ago with the little book by Eden Gray or something, and then I just put it away, and I think it was around 2014 that I started again sort of an interest in tarot and took a course, and one of those sort of learn major arcana, minor arcana, court cards. And then and I being sort of started, I got hooked on tarot too, and then about maybe a year or two I ended up on integrative healing with Sadhana, and I knew about the course last year, but it was just too late for me to take it. And then when I saw the course was supposed to be given this year, so I signed up, and so that's how I ended up in this course.
Well, thank you. It was a great group. So we just completed the 2022 class.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you so there was a request from some of the European contingency that I offer a class at a more optimal time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is another set that is beginning in the fall, September 28th at 11 a.m. Now I'm saying that, but I need to go back. I'm pretty sure it's 11 a.m. whatever's on the website is correct. And there are 9 spots that are available in that class. So if you are interested in hopping in, there is another set in 2022, and that will carry over into the early part of 2023. So yeah, if you're interested. And we have the lovely Mary Beth. Hello, welcome to you.
So good to be back with you all. I'm Mary Beth. I'm in Los Angeles in the middle of a horrible heat wave. You may have heard about it. I've studied astrology for millions of years, and then came to tarot about 2 or 3 years ago, and I was just kind of moved to start looking at that. I mean, obviously, having been in astrology for so long, you're always sort of around things like tarot, so it wasn't totally unfamiliar territory. But I had been in Jungian therapy for many years in my life, and I just resonate with kind of a psycho-spiritual approach and love working with symbols. And I was lucky enough to find sadhana. I think there's that expression, when the pupil is ready, the teacher will come. And I hope I was ready. And I just found her and feel very blessed to have done so. So.
Well, it was wonderful, wonderful. And Sarah and Clevis and Mary Beth have all taken multiple courses with me. I feel it's really lovely to see your faces again tonight. Yeah. And Clevis, did you say where you were from?
I didn't say. I live in Toronto, Canada.
Okay. So we have US, Canada, East Coast US, East Coast Canada, West Coast US. And Tina, hello, good evening, welcome. You're muted, Tina. There's a mute button in the left bottom left corner.
Nice to see you again. Clevis, haven't I seen you in the class? Well, the chakra class? The chakra course that we went together. I went in the same class as Sarah and Mary Beth, and I haven't come so long as Sarah and Mary Beth. I'm not what you are learning, Sadhana, it's very much, it's very good and very much, but I have still to training on my storytelling. It's lots about storytelling and seeing so much layers. I love to listen to Sadhana. And it's very funny, and I'm learning so very much. But I'm very slow. As you said, Sadhana, you take your time.
Yes, you definitely take your time. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I'm appreciating that I have all the lessons, Tarot Foundation and healing with chakra. And I think I saw Clevis were in that class.
I think so too. Yeah, there was, earlier this year, I did a chakra level 1 class as well as a chakra level 2.
Yeah. I went the first one because I have to go through the class again.
And Tina, tell us where you are from.
I'm living outside Stockholm in Sweden.
Okay, so Tina was in the evening class in 2021 and got up at some ungodly hour of the morning to join us. It was most admirable.
As now, 3:00 in the morning.
Well, that's really something. And we have another soul backstage. I do not recognize your name. So once your camera is on, and if you can change your screen name, I will add you to the I'll add you to the conversation. So let's go to the questions, and I have set up a group of questions that I'm hoping this evening can direct our conversation and just give you more information from the viewpoint of the students. So looking back over And I want to say the course was for some of you more than 22 weeks, because one of the things I have done is offer some bonus classes, extra classes when I felt like content got a bit muddled. Perhaps I hadn't had a great day. Sometimes I came back and re-recorded or did other things. And so we really did get to know each other. And so in the accumulation of our time together, what was your greatest takeaway? Do you want to go first, Sarah?
Yes. So well, it was just the best experience ever. I think your approach was just perfect. I felt it was a safe environment. You were so patient with us. And I kind of felt that what I realized was that I could be a lifelong student of tarot, and that the more you revealed and exposed and helped us see, the more I realized that tarot is just an amazing source of counsel, and that it will be with me for life. It was just a great experience. I couldn't recommend your this course more. I just loved it. I met some wonderful people who I consider friends. I don't see people, they're all over the world, but we kind of went on a very special journey together. But yeah, it was an incredible experience.
Thank you, Sarah. How about you, Clevis? I mean, it's only been days since the course wound up. What was your...
Well, I always had the impression that tarot was it was a tarot deck defined sort of a universe, a slice of it, or yeah, there was it would encompass a lot of things. But in the course, I was able to put it in different places, use pull all kinds of scripts that I had. The knowledge base, you can combine it with so many things of science, technology, yoga, put it in different countries, Japan, India. So it was just the whole world expanded for tarot. And also that it's not finite. What you said, you take a course, and you take a course, you might take a certificate of attendance, but most teachers is just finite. Okay, it's done, that's it. So, and with this course, even though we got through so many things, this is just the beginning.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is. It is a journey. And so one of the things that happened after I was watching the playback. So when you take this course, the playbacks are available to you from your particular group forever. And so you can watch these replays over and over again. And as I was editing the last class from the last group, there was just something else I wanted to say. And so we're going to have a little bit of a bonus class. And I've also invited previous students as well, too. And this won't be on Zoom. It'll be on YouTube just for tarot students. So it's very much an ongoing journey. So yeah, thank you for those thoughts. So how about you, Mary Beth? I mean, it's interesting because you have so much already in your toolkit.
Well, I think for me, I mean, there was so much, like I have my little notes here, and there was quite a paragraph about greatest takeaway. So it's hard to boil it down to one thing, but I think it was a process or a journey, as you say. It wasn't just here's what the Fool is, and we don't, and this means that, and reverse and that. It wasn't like the antithesis of the little white book. But I think it was my biggest takeaway was the extent to which you encouraged us to approach it intuitively, to honor our own intuitions. I appreciate the kind of the psycho-spiritual approach that is paramount for me, because it's not about, going to meet a tall, dark stranger next week. And just how supportive of your students you are. And I know that you have a teaching background, and I used to teach too, and you can really tell. I mean, the material is so well organized, and there's tons of it, more than you could possibly get through. So you really feel like you're walking away with with a lifetime outline for studying. And also what I especially appreciated among many things is the depth of your own spirituality approach, and also just your experience. Like, you've seen so many clients. So in addition to providing, a very depth approach to the, to the cards, you could also give concrete examples of, what if you have a client who's in this situation, how to open a reading, how to close it. So it really, just the scope of the course, I think, was what was impressive, from the very practical to just the really kind of, I don't want to use the word esoteric because that implies that it's hard to understand. It wasn't that way at all. And how accessible you made the material. So
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I think it's an important thing to understand is that you don't have to be clairvoyant or clairaudient to read tarot. There are so many skills that you can use and put together. So if there's any fear of learning the tarot or reading tarot for others because, I'm not psychic, I don't have access to the other side, that will come over time. You will develop more confidence in your other senses, but you certainly don't need that. And this is a course that's full of tools, full of resources. How about you, Tina? What was your big takeaway from the class? You're muted.
Everything.
Mhm.
No, everything, Sadhana, because as I didn't tell in the beginning, I haven't done tarot because I had so much respect that it was just a special kind of people who could read tarot. I didn't even touch it. So, because of my respect. And then my daughter began, and I was interesting. And I just have to, but it's so much. And I listen and listen, and I'm a little unsure of myself. I have to work on myself very much and listen to my intuitive side. And I really start to do that, not in just tarot, but in my work. And yeah, I don't make spreads every day, Sada, but I love looking at the videos, and I'm I'm taking very small steps.
Well, that's
But
wonderful.
but you have given me so much, and yeah, everyone knows what I mean with you giving us so much, many views, and look at the tarot, and how you can study the tarot card, and in the spread, and how the card, it's so much. But haven't I read right, Sarah Marybeth Clevis?
It's not meant to overwhelm. It's meant to help build connections.
Yes,
And
I'm overwhelmed, and therefore I have stepped away a little bit. I'm looking at videos. I can't stop looking at videos with you, Sadhana, but I'm picking my between my decks every day. And yeah, as you know, I'm a collector.
well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
And you made me also to a collector with all, yeah, what you tell about different decks and so on.
You
There is
know,
so many things.
thank you. That the thing about collecting decks, and for those of you that are on Facebook, I just decided before Lionsgate to do a big clear out. And they just went zoom, zoom, zoom. And I opened my tarot cabinet tonight, which has a lot of decks in it. And now I am about 21 decks lighter, and it feels so good.
Mm.
You really only need one deck. And it is not my intention through the class to get you shopping unnecessarily. So.
No, I don't. I know that. I'm starting to. At the beginning, I wanted everything, everything in dark decks, angel decks, everything. But I'm also starting to slow down.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm going to skip ahead to question number 3. So for those of you that are watching the playback and you're wondering where's question 2, we may come back to question 2 later. So this question is about, and I touched on this earlier, so this is a 22-week class that is taught via Zoom with the intention that you do participate in the class. And one of the things I am working toward and developing is a version of the class where you are not, and I say the word required, you're not required to show up, but you get so much more out of it if you do appear. For me, one of the things I had not anticipated, and mostly this is, I mean, I have taught classes on the internet before COVID, but the connections that were built among people, the practicing, the socializing that happened outside of our Zoom meeting, this was really a surprise, and the friendships that were connected. So that is my one of my biggest surprises from the class. But I want to ask you, if you've taken other tarot classes, what was different about this one? Clevis, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Well, like I said, I I would say I took like Tarot 101, and sort of like you learn the chords, you learn the major arcana, the minor arcana, but there was an emphasis on it wasn't sense of it was finite, like you're supposed to learn this, and after that I think you'll be able to sort of read, or there was an emphasis in practice, but there was no like support, there was no some kind of more of like, they never really placed tarot in a wider scope of applications, so that make it something that you do that is separate from your life, and it's something that you do maybe, I belong to a tarot circle, but we meet, but it wasn't the same. It was more confined. It was just like, it was a little space that you get in and you get out, and that's it.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
That's an interesting perspective. Sarah, any thoughts on, have you taken other tarot classes?
No, I haven't. I do belong to a local group in Massachusetts, and we meet, and somebody takes a topic and we discuss. But it's I wouldn't call it a class. It's more of a sort of support, a support group in a way. So no, I haven't taken any classes, and I think after I saw your videos, I think you're the only person that I'd be interested in taking classes with, although I'm sure it's nice to see other people's techniques and approaches, but no, sorry, I have not.
Okay, all right, I was just curious. And this is one thing that I have learned as a student of many things. Let's say Reiki, for example, that even taking a class or repeating a class with the same teacher, you tend to pick up so much, let alone taking a course with different teachers, because we all have different styles, different approaches. Some of us have annoying dogs that bother the class. Oh my goodness, Amber. Yeah, so I can't say enough for trying different approaches. Mary Beth, have you taken other tarot classes?
Yes, and I mean they've been good. I mean, but I feel, first of all, the length of the class that allows you to really develop, that process that we talked about, and the ability. I mean, again, the way you teach the class, which is, it's not just going from, okay, we're going to start with the Fool and we're going to end up with the King of Pentacles, but the way, like, you'll integrate the connections, like what do the aces and the tens have in common, or the way you organize it by looking at the elements and teaching it that way rather than just going through it in a very rote manner. And also the wealth of material, as I said, but also the exercises that really encourage you to engage creatively. They're fun, you know, the kind of things that you suggest us. The exercises, I think, were very, you know, very helpful in terms of giving me permission to approach it intuitively, creatively, just engage with the symbols. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Tina, have you taken other tarot classes?
No, I just been with you, but I have been curious of Truth in Story.
Yes.
But I haven't attended one of her classes, but I think she's interesting. So, and you seem to like her.
Yes, so Tina is referring to Kelly Fitzgerald, who is the Truth in Story. So the Truth in Story on YouTube, that's also her website name. So yes, her classes are very popular and she teaches all kinds of topics as well too. Yeah. Okay. I think we've kind of touched on this question. But this is, you know, this is the underlying kind of philosophy of how I read tarot. And it's funny because one of the things I did not issue, and this has been a criticism of the class, is that the overview, the overall plan of the class is not actually a document that I have created. Please go away. I have handwritten diagrams, webs. I have, of course, spreadsheets of all of the topics and how they intersect. But for me to put this into a succinct table of contents is impossible. And I would love, I'm working on it. Eventually I will have a graphic of the class plan. And I want to apologize. I know Andrew, this is something Andrew was just dying for. And I had feedback from Rachel McDonald as well too. And she said, it was really hard for me because I'm that kind of person who needs to see the whole journey, the whole picture. And so I feel bad that that's not something that I have yet published. So yeah, what was your if there's anything you haven't said about, because I'm sure that you watch other readers on YouTube, you watch other people's approach. Can you pin it down? Can you describe it for other people who might be considering studying with me? Sarah?
Well, I don't know if I can pin it down, but I think you have a wonderful kind of multi-layered approach. You bring in, you know, your different sort of modalities, your different perspectives on things. You bring in the chakras. We, you know, touch on in the crystal energy, the symbols, and it's. And I think your patience and your I think you're comfortable with not a state of when we have open discussions or kind of like look at something more closely, you're comfortable in that mess. Like you don't want to like jump to the end, some sort of resolution. I kind of feel that it really was a learning, a journey of discovery, and you're very patient and you're so supportive in that style. I just love your teaching approach. And you kind of scoop things in and you kind of bring, you know, other elements into your classes. So I just love listening to how you bring things together.
Thank you, Sarah. You know, it's a lifelong journey of integrating modalities. And when I really dove deep into the tarot, just I think the confidence came through the intersection of multiple layers. And so yeah, I hope it's never, doesn't go too far in the direction of confusing. Mary Beth, did you want to say anything else about this?
I would say the same thing, the fact that you were able to bring in so much from your studies of, Hinduism and Reiki and other modalities, as Sarah said, just speaks to the depth of it. And again, the ability to make those connections, I think it felt very integrative. That's the only way I can describe it, rather than linear. It felt, and I think that's a difference that I experienced between your classes and others.
Well, thank you. Thanks for that. Clevis, do you have anything to add?
Well, I would say that it is just this is like, your approach is like tarot outside the psychic fair. It is just, I always say that, like, when I went to university, it's just not to work, is to live. So this is the first course that I find like tarot could be part of my life and can be used everywhere. And it's just not this witchy, sort of exoteric thing. Um, and and it's just, sort of like what, the tarot book is, any book is Google, it's an encyclopedia, is any book that can even be a novel, anything. So it's just that it's expand to me, it's expanded all the where can uh, tarot go, where I can take it, or where tarot can take me.
I really like that comment. So tarot outside the psychic fair. One of the things I recommend, if you feel just that, if you have that opportunity, there's nothing like reading at a psychic fair. It's really something, but tarot is so much more than that. It's so much more than the tarot hotline, where you pay per minute to have your question answered. It's so much more than the readings that I offer on Tuesdays, which are, I try to be as comprehensive as possible, but they're pretty quick and dirty. And tarot is just such an organic thing that can be part of your, your morning routine in the kitchen, to something you just have as a bit of comfort to carry with you. There's just so many beautiful applications. So yeah, I appreciate that feedback. Okay, so this is I want, it's too bad Shannon didn't come back, because I wanted to use Shannon as an example. Shannon, when she joined the class, this is in the group with Sarah and Mary Beth, she was new. I think she'd been practicing, she'd had a tarot deck for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe she'd gotten her first deck just the first week of the class. And by the end of the class, even before the end of the class, Shannon was doing live readings on Facebook. She was connecting with her community through, I forget the name of the social media app. And I was just flabbergasted by the courageousness of this person, who had, I think she was the greenest person in the class, and she just decided to step out there. Okay, I've got to practice. And believe me, doing live readings on Facebook is not for the faint of heart. So anyway, she did a great job, and it was lovely to watch her progress. But I'm wondering what you can share in that regard.
Well, I might say not necessarily that I'm bashing a psychic fair. You can take tarot to the psychic fair, but it's one place where you can take it. You can take it many places. From week one to, I'm more comfortable reading. I know much more. I know where to pull scripts from. and like I said, where, the answers or whatever, how to weave stories and connect, sort of, instead of connecting, like from 1 to 10 on a single element or on a single, you can connect through numbers, you can connect to zodiacs, you can connect to many things. So those are things that I learned, or like even the Celtic cross. I had never done more than like a three card spread. So I'm comfortable now with doing like the Celtic cross and more complex spreads and things like that.
Something you said just rang a bell, and hopefully it will come back to me. So we do develop spreads, a lot of spreads throughout the course, and taking it from quite simple to more complex, but also I know what I was going to say. So the understanding the organization, the layers of the spread, and building in the reason why we choose a certain number of cards. And so another intention for me in the class is also to empower you through these skills to build your own spreads and to understand the intention of placing cards down, and the number of cards you place down, and the shape that you place them down, right? It's never an accident. So this is something that I hope that you can all take away and grow and develop through this class. But also something else Clevis said kind of rang a bell, and that was, while we do learn, I do go through a lot of different layers in the class. You don't have to use all of them every reading, right? It gives you a repertoire, if you will. Mary Beth, where have you kind of gone? Like, where are you today in this process?
I think what I'd said before about it giving me permission to approach the symbols directly, because the work that I had done in Jungian therapy, they place a big emphasis on active imagination. You just take the symbols from a dream or symbols from your imagination and just engage with them freely. And I had not approached tarot that way. I had approached it in the past. Well, the card means something, you look it up and you look at, and I knew that you would integrate it. But I think I feel much freer. I can do a spread for myself, and I feel free to just interpret the symbols for myself. Obviously, you need the basic knowledge, and that's there, and you give a lot of information. But I think for me, the difference was just I got permission to do that, which with your support and encouragement. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Tina, do you feel any more confident in reading for yourself or for others? I know you have this air of lack of confidence, but
I'm not reading for my intention with this class was not to read to anyone else than for myself. I don't feel the confidence that you say, but my goal was to read for myself, to learn about myself and go deeper with me. But I have learned a lot, Sadhana, and it's much more, and I can't say now, but I know when I'm looking, I look different on the cards. It's not just the little white book.
And I also think sometimes I was hard on you. You had very difficult situations with work and work colleagues and things. And one of the things that we can do in the class is to push each other a little bit to it's a small group. So the maximum number of people I take in the class is 11. And to push you a little bit to kind of break through that. It's very hard to read for yourself, and to have the confidence to see in the cards what you might be able to see for another, but see it for yourself, is a real gift. So,
but this has started very much on my work with myself, with my colleagues at work, and it has started. I don't think I'm realize how much the tarot has started for me on work, on self-reflections, and well, I have lots of talk with my boss and my co-workers that I'm working on my, as they suggest, my aggressivity, but I'm just saying that when I think people don't understand what I'm saying, I'm very, very clear what I'm doing, and then they maybe take it that I'm angry and so on. But it has started lots of things, Sadhana. I'm very grateful for that. I'm thinking very much every day when I'm talking to my coworkers and them who lives there. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Sarah, how has your journey shifted from the first week together?
Yeah, well, I think I can relate, or everyone's stories kind of resonate with me. I think for me, I kind of feel it's almost like a language, right? I'm feeling more comfortable, more, I'm speaking more with the tarot. I use it frequently as a resource, as a self-reflection tool, as Tina had mentioned. It's also given me a lot of confidence too. I've been looking at different situations in my life, and it's helped change my perspective. It's helped change my approach to certain situations, and it's been a great counsel. So I haven't done too many readings, for friends or family. I have though. I'm increasing with that, but I feel that it's become part of my life now. I feel it's sort of part of my daily regime, or my kind of mental health. Eat my vegetables and use my tarot. So it's become an integral part of my life. So I think also I'm still learning. I feel like I've got so much more to absorb. It's ongoing. So and you open the door, right? The portal is now open.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, okay, I want to say something right now. So I started broadcasting in the wrong link. So that's why there's no viewers watching. We are actually on the live stream for the extra class tomorrow night.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to share this broadcast later on and switch it over. So it's most unfortunate. This is my tech error. So you were right. I'm in the wrong place. That's why Michelle is here. Michelle is so hopefully she can join us tomorrow night. And Michelle is one of the people who's enrolled for the fall class.
And we use this same link tomorrow for that class, right?
I will email you all. I will figure that out.
No, because I was going into YouTube while we were doing this to see what the comments were, and it was saying waiting for.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what to do, but I will. So hello to everybody. I mean, this happens. Anyway, let's carry on. It would have been lovely to have people in the chat asking questions, and I'm sure anyway. That's very frustrating. Okay. Sadhana. Okay. All right. Sarah, you're up there. So any advice for somebody wanting to take this class?
I think if anyone's thinking about taking the class, do not hesitate. It was transformational and life-changing. So, and sign up right now.
Okay, lovely to thank you for that. Thank you.
And I would say the same thing. And if I know that people have, first of all, I think it's tremendous value for the money. I mean, if that's the issue for anybody, you will well get your money's worth. And as Sarah said, I mean, it's just a really special experience, and the relationships you'll make and forge. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate. You know, I think you'd be crazy not to. I mean, if you could.
So on the money thing, do you think the class it's on the expensive end?
I do not think so, but that's a very individual choice. I mean, people have their budgets. I'm just saying that for the comparatively, I think it's beyond reasonable. But then also the amount of material you get. You know, but again, that's why I'm speaking to somebody who's maybe on the fence that way, because everybody's budgetary constraints are different. And I'm just saying that you will definitely feel that you got your money's worth if that's a hang up in any way. You know, we have to be careful, you know, while counting our pennies. So
Yes, of course. And also, please know that each time I've offered this class, I have done payment plans. So some people have paid for the class in 3 payments, some are for 6 payments, some for 10 payments. And so I'm totally flexible that way if you can't pay up front. So you just need to reach out to me for that. Yeah.
Yes, Sadhana has been very helpful with payments. I paid several times, 4 times or something. So she's very helpful, and the money, it's worth the money in the long end, because you learn so much. I think you learn us so much, Sadhana. You don't understand how much you're learning us, because it's, as you said, you are a yogi, you are a healer, you are Reiki, you are tarot reader. It's so much. So in that, you don't know by yourself how much you're giving in all your lessons.
Well, you know, sometimes I am I'm sitting there and I'm watching all of you on the little figures on the Zoom, and you're either, I mean, the classes sometimes they're at night, right? So people are tired, or I don't know if you're tired or it's too much information or you're just paying attention. Sometimes it's hard because everybody's so quiet. That's why so we do go into breakout rooms in the class, and I think that's also a wonderful opportunity to practice and to apply some of the things we're doing. So maybe you can just offer, what was your experience of breakout room practice, Clevis?
Oh, it was quite good, you know, because you know, I read for people, and sometimes it was a confirmation, or I read for myself and the other person, there was a confirmation, and that's what I like about in this class. And when I met with some of the people, that, you know, okay, I'm on the right track, you know, my calls are okay. And even, you know, sort of like in this class, I make great friends, and, you know, some of them, you know, we almost talk every day pretty much, and so it is, and it's important. It's just sort of a couple of you know, people, almost like like the Wizard of Oz, you know, down the yellow brick road, you know, but we're not alone, you know, something like that. It was a lot of fun.
That's good. That's good. Sarah, what was your experience in breakout room practice?
Yes, I also second that. I think it was, you know, less intimidating to try out some of the spreads and some of the approaches that we had been discussing as a group. I know I got a little shy when you came into the breakout rooms, and, you know, lose my tongue sometimes. No, I think the breakout rooms were a great addition to the class. It was like a safe place to try things out, to be candid with your peers, you know, the fellow students. So I thought the breakout rooms were great. And also, I just want to say that if we were quiet, it was because we were just absorbing everything. It wasn't, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I was just, you know, what's the word, just soaking everything up. So I was present. I was totally present. I might just have been a little quiet.
That's good to know. So the whole breakout room thing, this is also I found can be quite intimidating for some people because they don't want to read for another classmate, or it's that there's been different feedback on this, and so I want you to know that there is never any pressure to participate or to read for someone else in a breakout room if you're not feeling it. I've said things like, don't not show up because you don't want to go into breakout rooms. You will be supported. You're never, forced to show up. You're never forced into a situation where you're going to be so uncomfortable, and I've really, really tried to honor that. Yeah. Mary Beth, what was your experience in breakout rooms?
Oh, I thought they were really helpful. I never felt pressured. I always felt that if I didn't want to, I could do it. I felt that the students were all students too, so I felt very supported. It felt like a safe environment. But it's like with astrology. At some point, to really get it, you have to start doing it. If you're ready, and you don't have to. And I never felt pressured by you. But it was a very safe way to test it out because we'd look at a spread and then we'd go in together, and they were all friendly people. I mean, I think I've spoken before with you about there's a darshan effect sitting with you, and I think you attract, a certain kind of person. I mean, there was never, a lot of times in groups, there's that squirrel or there's that asshole, and I don't know if we're allowed to say that. And it was never that. Everybody was very, and I think that has something to do with your energy and what you attract. So bottom line, I always felt safe. I never felt pressured. I hope that nobody that I was in a breakout room with felt pressured, and it just felt like a safe place to play. Nobody was shot down. Nobody made snarky comments. I mean, it was, how it can be with group dynamics, and there was none of that. So that's another thing that I think speaks to you.
And I know, Tina, sometimes you were a little nervous about language, and I know
Yes.
we had a Spanish, there was a woman from Mexico who registered this year, and she chose not to participate because of her language. And I just feel like you miss so much. Tina, did you what did you think?
I was shy, and I knew that I was lacking in language, but I also learned a lot. Sarah, Mary Beth, and Rachel, Joseph, and everyone. Everyone has been very patient and helpful, I think. I feel sorry for this woman that she doesn't participate, because I think she would get so much help from the other participants, because as Mary Beth say, it's a special. Everyone is coming into the class because they are interesting and open, and they like to see other people, and also to learn new other people. So it's a different kind of class. You can't compare this class with some other class, because it's a big difference.
And this there's just you can turn off your camera if you want your camera off. I know that we had a classmate this time who was nursing her son, and it was often bedtime when she was on. So she was there with the baby in the background, and sometimes she was on camera and sometimes she was not. So I'm very flexible with this, but I have to say there is nothing like participating in person. And this last session, we started the study groups a lot earlier, and the study group was an additional opportunity where students could get together and do their homework and practice. And Clevis, can you speak a little bit to the Sunday study groups? that
Um,
at this time?
I pretty much attended them all. I guess the last July and this, I think at the end of June, I stopped attending because I had things to do on Sundays. But it was very helpful, and sometimes, the first one, I think we stayed for 3 hours. I mean, it was just. I mean, we were all wrapped on what we were doing and learning and discussing, and we realized that even Sadhana didn't have to be there. It was the second one or the third one. She forgot about it, but we were able to get in, and we had, and these meetings were, yeah, they were very, like I said, we didn't even know, people was free to come and go, and like we all will stay more than, most of the time we stay more than an hour for sure in the meeting, and it was usually on Sundays afternoon, late afternoon, and it was okay. It was really good.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I know we did a little bit of that quite late in the previous session, and this is something I'm definitely going to carry forth in the new classes as well too. So yeah. All right.
That sounds great. I mean, yeah, that would have been, yeah.
Yeah. So this is I'm trying to, the course is in constant, improvement. There's always things added, and so the session tomorrow night, this is also an opportunity for people to gather from different sections of the class, and so we can share our knowledge and so forth. Yeah. All right. So the final question for tonight is to be brutally honest and to share constructive criticism, any disappointments, something that you felt, oh, I wish we had done this, because I would love very much to hear this. Sit down. So who would like to go first? Miss Sarah, how about you? I'm going to put you up there.
Well, I can't think of anything, Sadhana. I didn't want the classes to end. Hearing about these study groups, that sounds great. Although we did start a group up, a few of us, and we kind of met on a Monday. Was that a Monday or a Tuesday night? For a few months. But no, I can't think of anything. I mean, your materials were fabulous. Some of the homework, the assignments, so thought-provoking, so thoughtful. I really can't think of anything. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so I mentioned one, and so that was, I know Andrew, who was in the last section, and Rachel really wanted an outline. And so I'm really going to endeavor to bring together a diagram of inside my head for you. But yeah, Mary Beth or Clevis or Tina, do you have anything that you would like to share in regards to what you'd like to see done differently?
I agree with Sarah that I don't have any complaints. I didn't feel that anything was missing. If people feel that an outline would be helpful, that's fine. I would welcome the chance to continue it somehow, and I know when Sarah and we were trying to keep that group going, and it's hard, there's something about the structure of the class and you being there, and when people are just kind of joining with no leadership sort of, I mean, it's hard, I think. So I think those study groups are a great idea. And again, my only disappointment is that there's not a Foundation 202. So,
Okay. What I was saying when we were off air before we came on was that part of one of my intentions is to put the course content into a manual. And this is not something I'm going to, there's enough tarot books out there. This is not something I'm going to sell, but it will be a manual that is a single document. So you're not getting documents every week, multiple days of the week. And then I'll be able to also re-record the 22 classes and put together an option for not participating live. So I would still like to carry on with the Zoom classes because they're brilliant. I just love the connections. But also for those of you that just can't manage that for one reason or another, then to have the pre-recorded class. Yeah. Anything else that you would like to share? Any final thoughts, or go for it? The floor is yours.
Well, I'll say, even though it was 22 weeks and there was no, what do you call, like a course outline, I have no qualms in signing in. And I thought that, like I said, the price was right for me. And it was, I wouldn't say that I had any expectations, but whatever developed, I was rolling with it. I thought it was fine because it was just, like I said, it was like a different portal to me. Where can, like I said, where can I take tarot and where tarot can take me? And like I said, I'm not, sort of, no, I don't have any disappointments. I would like to continue because all this year, since it started, because I signed for the course last year at the end of the year, and then you had some kind of get together that I think I met you, some of you, that you had some kind of get together for, was it for Yule or something?
Yes.
And it was, so pretty much since the beginning of the year, I had classes with you for once a week and stopped now. This is the last week, sort of. So I'm gonna miss it, and I would like to continue. That's my take on this.
You have to continue, Sadhana. You
Yeah.
have to make some class of sorts.
Yes. And for me, it's easier if it is like the one-offs are tricky. For me, it's better if there's a theme or something, and yeah. So perhaps there will be in the future a tarot foundations too. Yeah.
Will there be another chakra healing course too?
I would probably do the chakra one first, so that there's enough people to run the two. Yeah. We had a small group for chakra healing too. And so this was, so the course was called Tarot Through the Chakras.
Yes.
And the first group was full. We had 11. And then we had a smaller group for Tarot Through the Chakras too. And it was, so that class was a lot of work. I really pushed everybody. Sarah took that class. Mary Beth, you audited that, or you watched the replays of that class. It was about putting everything into practice, and it's what I love. I love all that work. So, all right. Well, Amber and I would like to say thank you very much for joining us tonight. And if you can all remain, I will sign off, and then we can just chat backstage for a moment. Okay. So thank you, everybody, and my apologies for not. For screwing up with the tech and this, you weren't able to chat. So I look forward to your feedback in the comments below, and I will get to those as soon as I make this correction. Good night, everybody. Namaste.